up for you this morning. And as much as I want to share this word with you, I'm sharing it with myself too. I'm saying that breathe, because this is just a chapter, not the full story. So you and I ought to breathe. However difficult and unpleasant this place might be right now, remember that it is just a chapter, not the full story. It will surely pass. You will surely read that chapter and move on to the next. And so I say to myself and I say to you, we're breathing because God's on our side and it surely will be well. Now, June is here and we thank God. It's my birth month as well. I am very excited. I don't know how I feel about the fact that, you're growing again, but yeah. And then someone says, oh, Edem, are you going to do the photo shoot? I said, oh, how? That is a lot of pressure, but we'll see that how it goes. We're grateful to God, for bringing us to the month of June. June bones rock. Every other person, all the other months, moon and I'm home. And we're happy for you, but June is what it is. And I am even more excited because we dedicate June to having men's conversations. I think Father's Day is on the 19th of June, yes. And ahead of that, and after that, we will be having men's conversations. We'll have conversations on men's health and all that throughout the month of June. So the women, you have to join in, and for us to support the men and make sure that we make June very special for them. And we're starting off with a very, very interesting and important conversation this morning. Gosh, the responses I got when I shared this yesterday, it's amazing. Even the people who usually want to respond to your messages were all responding. The first message I got was, it's a lie. Like, just like that. Honorable Havlaji Fangomashi, good morning to you. That was from her. She simply said, Edem, it's a lie. So we're asking, is it really true that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach? For me, this is an age-long assertion, right? Nearly every woman who is about getting married or married has heard this. It is the reason mothers will do all it takes to teach their daughters how to cook. But I ask, is this really the case? That a woman can lack everything else, but can capture the heart of a man if she can cook very good meals? Is good food what ultimately defines love for a man? Will good food stop a man from cheating on his woman? Will good food make a man forgive his wife of all her transgressions? If she's not industrious but cooks very well, will that make a man keep her and love her truly? If she cooks good food but is mannerless and disrespectful, will she still get to his heart? What really is the place of food in keeping a man as opposed to other values? I am asking this morning, on a scale of 1 to 100, what percentage would men give to food when it comes to true love and commitment? Where is the place of respect, manners, support, industriousness, and sex, among others? Is it really true that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach? We will be taking a short break. When we come back from that break, we will get into this conversation. Okay, hold on. I have been told that I shouldn't take a break yet, so we will go on with the conversation. How true is this age-long assertion that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach? That man must really have a very big stomach. But good morning to all of you.
Good morning,
Good to
Edem.
see. Fiji has been very regular. Fiji, good morning and good to see you again.
Good morning, Edem. Good to see
Hey,
you.
how many years?
You tell me.
Hey, Daniela, please work it out too. 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 years.
Oh, really?
Hey, this man abandoned us.
I took a sabbatical.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't even seeing him on social media again. Like, he actually just decided to go. Kobina Ata-Bedu has joined us this morning after about 5 years of abandoning us. Good morning, Kofi.
Good morning.
And good to see you. You're glowing, though. You've been eating
you.
good food.
Are you sure?
Am I sure? And Reverend Kofi Boateng. Please add the other one to it. So how does it all sound now?
Reverend Kofi Boateng, Esquire.
That's right.
That's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Great.
Always a pleasure to be
I
here.
mean, these are all big men doing their stuff, but they love family. And so when you invite them, let's have family conversations. They will leave everything else and then say, let's do it. And this month, right, we're looking at having a lot of daddy codes. Next week, we'll have conversations like that. From daddies to daddies. Real daddy codes. If you're a father, what are those codes that fathers will expect other fathers to have? We'll have those conversations all through the month of June and also have men's conversations. But is the way to a man's heart through his stomach? As simple as that. Fiji, is it?
Edem, good morning to our listeners. There is some truth in there, but I don't think that it is the complete truth. So first and foremost, there is a reason why. Okay, so let's look at evolution of society. There was a time, society had been, or there was a time that society had been arranged or structured in such a way that the man goes out, goes to hustle. And then the woman takes care of the home. Even when she's doing some business, most often than not, depending on the nature of the society, the business was home. You understand? So the man comes home, and the woman is married purposely to help with procreation and management of the home. So you get to find out that, cooking was an integral part of the social setup. There should be food in the house. There should be food for the man. There should be food for the children. There should be food for his visitors.
That is the preserve of the woman.
That was the preserve of the woman. Up until recently, men wouldn't go to the kitchen unless probably he wasn't married, or he's widowed, or his wife is not around. So you found out that the woman's role was predominantly around the home.
But was that really the case, PG, especially so in an African setting where women were going to the farm with their husbands?
Yes.
They were helping till the land.
Yes.
Even with babies saddled at their backs.
Yes.
And all that. I don't think that women were just staying at home for the men to go do all that, bring it for them to cook. They were very industrious as well.
Yes, it's true, but it's also society specific. Women were not going to fishing. So in fishing communities, that argument would.
Well, they were still at the shores receiving the fishes.
Well, that's true.
And smoking them.
That's true, but ultimately
and selling them.
Yes, but ultimately, no, that didn't remove the fact that ultimately, when they came home, the man wouldn't help. When they exactly. So when they come home, it was their responsibility to make sure that the home is taken care of, food is available,
so women
and all
did
of that.
more than men.
Oh, really? Do we have to go there?
Exactly. What he's saying
Kofi,
is
let
very
him
true.
finish.
What he's saying is very
Okay.
true, but we are looking at two different contexts. There's the Western context, where in the Western society, the wife was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. In our African context, the reason why the man had multiple wives was that if he wants to expand his farms,
He needs
more hands.
Wow.
And you can only rely or trust your spouse.
You won't
So
go
he
and look
takes
for
an
farm
extra.
hands.
They'll steal. So they will take an extra wife, and what they do is that they split the farms to their wives. So when the farming season starts, he goes with you to cultivate your farm, goes with the other one to cultivate. Now you take care of your farm. At the end of the harvesting period, he goes to help sell your produce and uses it to take care of you and your children.
But let me
just finish and then I'll come to Kofi.
Yes. So, let's not even get into all of that. But the point I was making is that ultimately it was a praise of the women, to make sure that there was, so knowing how to cook and being good at it, and the whole garnishing, serving the food, it's a whole art. So it was an integral part of
The culture.
winning a man's heart and then getting married. Now we are in a new generation. A new generation.
And back then, you can tell that the men really appreciated
Yes,
that.
yes, they really did. They really did.
Oh, so now we
Yes.
don't.
They really did, but now we are in a different era where both of us are putting in the same hours. And there is a conversation, a rapidly growing and expanding conversation of men being domesticated and then helping at home. Technology has also made it possible for people to be married and still not live together. So they are in different places. So somebody is married, he works in Takrade, and the wife is also in Accra. So you get to find out that there are now a lot more reason that may make a man not focus on food. Because you get up in the morning, by 5:30 you are in traffic. Sometimes you get to the office, before you get to you call your driver or you call your cleaner or somebody in the office, actually go and get me some wachi.
Cocoa.
The wachi or the cocoa will be ready by the time you go there. In the afternoon, probably your work gives you lunch, or your hustle will take you to a place where you eat. So most often than not, the only time you probably eat in the house is in the evening.
On weekends.
On weekends. So then
In the
most
evening,
people...
if you stop eating,
Exactly.
your hands were there, you get to the middle ages and you start
Exactly.
growing in the
So
middle.
now a lot more people are not putting the emphasis on that. I mean, people get into a fight and they refuse to eat their spouse's food. I grew up in a home where even if you saw my father's face somewhere, my mother's face somewhere, and you could read in between the lines that there's a problem, my father will always eat at home consistently. You understand? But now, small problem, a boy won't eat wife's food for like a whole month. You understand? Because it tells you that people are not looking for so many things in a woman beyond your ability to cook, beyond your ability to be homely. Because ultimately the bills would have to be paid, the school fees would have to be paid, and cooking and being homely won't help. So a lot more men are now interested in women who are industrious, women who are able to bring something financially. At the end of the day, if we can't even sit home and cook, we can still order some food. And now that is why the delivery service, the food service is like through the roof. Exactly. So that, if you look at all the circumstances and experience around, you get to find out that food may not so play so much role. Oh, final thing though. You get to find out that most men who have extra side pieces, their girlfriends are not even cooking for them.
They don't even know how to
They don't even know how to cook. Okay. But they are falling in love left, right, and then doing stuff.
So
it's not always the thing, though it may influence some decision, but it is not a thing now in the 21st century.
I will go around the table before I conclude.
Sure.
Reverend,
Good morning again.
Good
And
morning.
I think it's quite refreshing that we're having a conversation centered on the man's needs for once. And congratulations.
Oh, but we do this very often.
not our emotional
Oh,
needs like
dear.
that. But anyway, I would say that there are several ways to a man's heart, and the stomach is only one of them.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But how important is the stomach?
It's important, but if you focus only on that, you may still miss out on a lot. And mind you, we can't put all men in a box. Not all men care about food as much as we've been made to believe. As Kobina said, there are men who really don't care whether there's food at home, whether their wives cook or not. They can easily get up and go get their own food or eat before they come home, or, any way you look at it, food is not as important to them as other needs may be. And so it's important that women learn to look at the needs of men more holistically and not only focus on food, because then you could be missing out on very important things. And if you allow me, some of the important things some of the important needs of men,
We'll come to
it.
Yes,
Okay, sure.
Great. And then from you, Kofi.
Okay. So for an introduction, what I picked up was, you're looking at two different things. There's how to knock and enter, and there's what makes you stay.
Okay.
They are two different things. Food, as the guys will say, none are yo. They matter a lot.
Okay, but this one we're talking about.
So we are talking about when.
Yes.
Now, let me give you the significance of food, even spiritually. How was Esau able to trade his birthright? Food. How was Jacob able to win his father's blessings? Good food, not just food. So food is very significant. Now, I always use this analogy in my counseling sessions. And I ask the ladies, when you are cooking for yourself or for the home, does it feel the same? Like when you someone you love, your boyfriend or someone, you are waiting for the person to propose, says I'm visiting, and you decide to cook for the person. Does it feel the same? They always tell me no, they don't feel the same. And I say, why is it that they don't feel the same? No, say so you and son.
That's true.
And I'm like, okay, so what do you think you and son? What do you think you were doing? You were actually pouring out your spirit into the food. And when the guy comes to eat the food, it communicates to his heart. And that is what draws him. So there are a lot of things that will draw a man to you. But good food is one. And if you miss it, you may win the man through the others. Sustaining him also is the problem.
A different thing.
Because if the food is not good, a man cannot eat horrible food forever.
Okay.
After some point, don't mind your wife chopper. We'll do the rest.
So, I mean, if I am gathering the bits and pieces of everything you men here have said, we're saying that this age-old assertion is not entirely true and it cannot stand on its own like we have been made to believe.
That is
right?
So. Yeah, that is so.
Okay. I am saying this also because for us young, I mean, when we were very young and, you know, planning to get married, the hammering was on the food, and our parents shied away from talking about other things. Of course, they would tell you that take good care of yourself and keep the home well, but they never made sex important. It was a conversation that would never be had with you. They assumed that that would come by itself. But I mean, my mother was not alive when I was getting married, but there were instances that I saw other friends of mine prior to the marriage. That's when it's like, you know how to cook, but your mother feels like, now I have to teach you how to cook again, you know. So that became very, 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 very emphatic. A refresher course, exactly. So now that, I mean, for men, and I hope that we're able to activate the phone line at some point and then listen to some other men talk about this. We're saying that, yes, it is important, but it is not, I mean, the holistic picture. Okay. So what then?
So let me explain to you why the mothers hammered on that one. And that is the maintenance part, not the knocking part. Because you would have won the man already. But the maintenance part. Now, there's a reason why food, when we talk about culture, food plays a key role in culture. So when tourists come into the country, they go and see places. They go and eat in different places. And they want to sample. So I spent time in Kenya. One of the dishes I enjoyed the most, and I still salivate when I think about it today, is their ugali and sukuma wiki with fish. So people travel to places and sample food, and they go back and they forget everything else, but they can't forget the taste of the food.
That's true.
There's a reason why boys would drive all the way to somewhere in Kaswa.
I remember the carnivore place in Kenya.
Exactly. There's a reason why boys will travel all the way to Kaswa, because there's some chop bar that does some Joseph light soup. And they want to go and sample it. So the mothers always maintain that make sure there is food in the house, because if a man is hungry, he gets angry easily. If a man is hungry, he can't think or function properly. So it shouldn't be that the reason why your marriage is going to break up is because you failed to put food on the table and he had to go and eat somewhere. Now, like I said, it is a way of knocking and then a way of maintenance. The other side chick might knock with good food. That is why the songwriter wrote a song and said, Odinkwampeji, mesume dinkomode bitiano. Everybody is choosing his choice. So you can't downplay the importance of food in winning the man and maintaining the man.
So there surely is a place for it.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Very important.
So let me ask this one before I go to the earlier question I was asking. I mean, on social media in recent times, but I mean, I wanted to chip this in. Have you seen PG's meals?
Oh God.
When PG cooks.
No, PG
And
PG is on a mission. We'll talk about that one off air.
The way he will garnish the food and put out there before
Edem,
eating.
I
I'm like,
don't-
are you going to eat this food? Like, you know.
Honestly, I don't even remember the last
It's an
time I
art.
actually
You see,
like,
if we change the laws right now and decide to make marriage on contract basis, 1 year renewable, we'll find out that by the time everybody's contract runs out, their spouses would have left them and went to queue behind PG's door. Because PG is on a mission.
I tell you, even
It's
coffee,
like-
even the
like
way
you
you will
say,
present
then you
coffee
design it
before
with
drinking.
some flowers
Oh my
or something,
God.
something on
I
it.
tell you.
PG,
I'm fancy man, I'm dramatic.
Why can't
your wife
Drama lives with me.
Your wife is in
But
trouble.
you know, in
Maybe
recent times,
Fantafoto concert.
Oh, yeah. Maybe read a man can do.
social media, people still talk and argue about women cooking
Yeah.
and women not knowing how to cook.
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't marry a woman who doesn't know how to cook.
Yeah.
She could be industrious, do everything, be everything and everything. If she doesn't know how to cook, that is a red flag, and
Yeah.
you don't go in for a woman like that. Is this a thing to go by?
Edem, that's some, when I said I talked about social evolution, we shouldn't forget that we all don't change at the same time. We all don't evolve at the same time. Ghana is still very much a very conservative country, regardless of the fact that Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and pockets of other places are becoming more urbanized and a lot more cosmopolitan in their outlook. And, when we talk about the cosmopolitanness of a place, we are looking at, gender equity and all of that, the disparity going down, pay, salaries are, at par, and then all of that. You get to find out that it is not widespread. So yes, in some portions of the urban centers and the cosmopolitan centers, people are okay because like everybody is busy, like I started by saying, But then again, when you go to the towns, when you go to people who have been raised by people who are very traditional, people have been raised in very close-knit family and then all of that. Yes, they still hold on to some of these values because they've also been raised to see family as everything. Don't forget that there are people still who still live on, who still eat on a table. At dinner time, everybody gets to sit on a table. You understand? And there are lots more families today. Your food is ready, babe. Husband eats at the time he is ready to eat. Wife eats at the time when she is ready to eat, and the kids would have probably eaten. So, if people grow up in such a family, the mere fact that today my dad didn't eat, today my mom cooked, but it was just us who ate. My mom took smoothies. My mom said she was having a fruit fasting, so she ate fruit. You see the disparity in the way we eat and then all of that. So people grow up not putting a lot of premium on food. So it depends on where you are coming from and what you've been exposed to. Personally, I enjoy kinky, okay, and I don't mind eating kinky for like a week in the evening. So nobody will really cook for me. You understand? I'll just go out, get my kinky, come home, and come and I'll prepare my red
Garnish
pepper.
it nicely.
I'll prepare my red pepper. I'll prepare my fish or whatever.
The red, green, and
the black one. Exactly. The only thing I go by is the kinky itself, and then I come and prepare whatever
all the other
goes
things
with it. You understand? And I will do it myself, and I don't have a problem. There are a couple of food my wife doesn't eat. I love to eat it, so I would love to do it myself. Or sometimes, avoid all the stress, you can just order the food. So you find out that Accra is changing, Ghana is changing. There are those who are still traditional, who still believe in let's cook at home. And don't forget that there are still people in Ghana here today gone to the best universities and the best schools, and they still want their wives to stay home. You understand? Some men will tell you that, listen, you have to cook for me in the morning, so the wife will have to stop everything or have to wake up a lot more earlier, cook, and then prepare some as a lunch pack, and then in the evening the man will come home and come and eat. There are people like that, and there are some people. To when you mention this, they look at you and be like, "Wait, are you people part of Ghana or something?" Like, who does that?
I can give
so,
you an example.
We are evolving and we are
So I mean, if we're putting this, because we're also talking homes and marriages,
Yes.
if we're putting this in our context as home affairs,
Right.
am I safe to conclude that PG is saying? People who are telling themselves that, look, if the woman doesn't know how to cook, you don't go in for them. You don't fault them because that is how they are wired, and you lay it on the table. if the woman is not comfortable with it, you don't even start the relationship, because you end up having problems
Well,
if you
yes,
push it to the background.
yes.
For
If
some
a
Because
people,
what
it's
is
a deal
important to
breaker.
them,
Yes,
you make
yes.
sure you are
Yeah.
considering
Yes,
it
sir.
very
Yes.
seriously.
Good. For some people,
It's a deal breaker.
For them, for some
And
people,
So
this
if it's
also
a deal
means
breaker to
that
the
we need
person-
to be honest about these
it,
things.
yes, exactly.
You don't just say that, oh yeah, it's okay. I mean, just soakings here and there, we are fine.
yeah.
But in your heart of hearts, you know that
You
you,
know that
want a
it's
woman
an-
who would
yes.
cook banku and pepper for you in the morning.
Absolutely.
And you know she can't do it, but you're waiting to get married to her because
And
of
then-
other things, and
thank
then you start
you.
making it a problem.
Thank you. And
That's the main problem you
exactly,
have brought into your
exactly,
home.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
I like how we are progressing with this conversation. Now let me come to it. So now that we have seen the place of food, and honestly I have been enlightened by the points you guys have made here. The place of food is critical. Yesterday somebody was asking, Apu, the food cry, how much do I even eat? What really is food that should define the kind of woman I marry?
Absolutely.
That's somebody's point. Another
Absolutely.
person, like you're saying, will be that, listen, food is critical.
Yeah.
I have a friend who would say that I really don't eat much, but whenever I want to eat and I'm eating from home, I want the food made out of love and served out of love, even if it is soakings. You know, so everybody has their way around food, and it's important. This morning we're saying that, look, don't just throw it away and say, oh, what is food? It's important. And if you're going into a relationship with somebody or getting married to somebody, you will need to have these conversations and find out how important this is to them. I've heard a story about a man who was marrying a woman, and the woman didn't know how to cook. And she told the man, I cannot cook, and I don't intend to learn how to cook. But the woman, fine brains.
Yeah.
We can do everything else,
Yep.
business and everything.
We get a
But
chef.
the food there, and they agreed that we get a chef, and that never became a problem. So if you have these conversations and you have your agreements, then food, as in bangu and pepper fufu, and doesn't become the deal breaker in your home. So what is the package?
Okay.
That's what I
So-
want us to go to. What is the package?
Someone
Kofi, you
has-
wanted to start.
Yes, someone has made the job so easy for us. There's an American psychologist called Dr. Willard Harley, and he identified 5 top needs of men based
Okay,
on
oh.
a survey. And the first one, which will come as no surprise to anyone, and these are not actually in any order of priority.
Right.
Sexual fulfillment.
So sex is key.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Aye.
The second one is an
Without it, it's not
attractive.
marriage.
Yes.
Is what?
Without it,
Without
it's
it,
not
it's not
marriage.
marriage.
The second one is an attractive spouse.
Yeah.
But you, the man, if you are not attractive, you want an attractive spouse.
Hey, today we are talking about men. our
Compliments.
needs, so let's leave the women out of it.
Complimentary.
The third one is domestic support, and that is where food falls. Domestic support. And then you have recreational companionship. They want a buddy, a friend, someone I can go home to and have a good conversation with. And then lastly, admiration.
Hey, food didn't come. Oh.
No, food, that's
That's
why I
the
said it
domestic-
falls
food
under
domestic-
domestic
domestic
support.
support.
Let there
Okay.
be food after going out and trying to conquer the world for you. I want to come home and come to a sanctuary where I can kick back and relax, and there's food, and I can, have my peace of mind. So that's where food falls. And that's why I said it's not, all encompassing when it comes to food. So the final one, admiration, also includes respect. And so it's important that we look at all of these things, get to know your spouse very well, and see which one is the most important to them, or which ones are important to them. If we say sex is not important, why do you think men are going about over their heads buying properties for side chicks and spending
why?
their children's school fees to maintain other women just
we
for
want-
sex? Whether it is right or not, that's another conversation to be had. But the
Exactly.
importance of it cannot
Be
be
underestimated.
underestimated.
Great. But it's interesting how in this, this list, food doesn't even stand alone. It's part of a lot of
Exactly.
things.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
very
Exactly.
interesting. Okay, so thank you, Kofi.
So men are not that simple as some people want
will
us
think
to
that,
be.
oh yeah.
We also we can be
And-
complicated sometimes.
And all of these things, the prioritization changes with time.
With
Yes,
time.
yes.
Exactly.
And with
Yes.
individuals,
Yes,
I
yes.
guess.
And with
Exactly.
individuals.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, what was important to me when I was 20 something
It's no longer
might
important.
not be
True.
important when I'm 30 something.
True.
And definitely won't be important when I'm 50 years.
True. True.
Great.
And I honestly, I like this point. I really, really like this point. You know, as you get to a certain point, and I always tell people when they are all about the looks of a woman, like guys, I always tell them, listen, all the girls that campus back in the day, university, we're not even looking at them twice. Give them to their 40s. Let them land a good job. Let them make good money. Let them chop good life. When you see them, you be like, wait.
You go shy.
Be like, wait, you know. And I always tell them, listen, don't put emphasis on the physical appearance, even though it is key. In your 40s, you realize that there are no ugly people around anyway. but most importantly, you get to find out that your peace of mind matters to you. For you to go out there, go hustle, and then come home to a partner you can have basic conversations with. Sit down. We are not probably even having sex for 2 weeks. Nobody thinks there's a problem because we've all grown to be friends. We can have beautiful conversations. It's ordinary food. You see, when the food is ordinary, cramponas, and there is love, you get to find out that it changes everything. You understand? Like, Angwamo cry cooked with love. Thank you. Angwamo cry cooked with love. It is you understand? Because you see, it is covered by, you know, the secondary school life when like boys or friends meet. Any nonsense food we hype.
When you were growing
and
up,
that is how
Please
it
let him
is.
finish.
You know, that's how it is. So you get to a certain stage. That's all you want. Then at a certain stage, at the latter parts, you know, you are getting to your 50s, or you've crossed 50s. Now you want something that is healthier.
You want to self-actualize.
Yes, something that is healthier. So you want a woman who would be more interested in you, because we'd have all hustled in our 30s, we've hustled in our 40s. Can we slow down a little bit? So can I get my wife being a little bit more interested? Can I serve him some fruit? Can I ensure that he's eating well? Can I ensure that his cholesterol level is this, his sugar level is this? So you want a woman who then pays attention to you, and as part of paying that kind of attention, food becomes an integral part of showing that love and showing that commitment. So yes, it varies.
So before I come to you, Kobi, let me find out. So I see a lot of evolution here.
Yeah.
In your
We are not as
20s.
simple as this.
What
the goalposts keep shifting.
exactly? I see a lot of evolution. What you're looking at in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s are not the same.
No.
How do you help this woman to evolve with you? Because at that time, a woman's needs are also different.
Also changing, yes.
You know, she is evolving in her own way.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we still want to maintain.
Yeah.
So how do you help a woman to evolve with you?
Edem, I think that communication is standard in every social contract or every social engagement. I mean, management may have the best of intentions. If staff members are not aware, they will agitate until they see it. And sometimes the planning stage and the manifestation can be so long, they wouldn't see that something is coming. And then probably the time they finish agitating, then they will see that management is doing something. And it's the same thing when we bring it home.
Well, let me just chip this in. By the time you are getting to that 50 and expecting on that menopause is
So you see, and if you bring it home, it's the same thing.
And the man is also slowing down in certain
sometimes
departments.
menopause can start making this woman act crazy.
So it's communication. As the man is growing and his needs are changing, he should be communicating it. And the two of them should build that kind of friendship that makes it very easy for you to pick the changes yourself. You know, sometimes you can be in a space with your best friend and then somebody walk in. Both of you know what you are thinking in your head, though you are not speaking. Because Charlie, you know, both of you want to gossip about it. Some way, somehow, without even opening your mouth, both of you know what you are thinking about. You understand? And that is the level of friendship you get to with your partner. So that when they wake up and they are moody, you know there's a problem. Even when you look at the way they respond, quickly you can pick that there's a problem. So in the same way, when they are eating, this is a food that they used to love. They clear their table, but it looks like for the past 2 months or so, whenever you prepare it, they kind of, you know, what is changing? Did I change an ingredient? Is it that he himself has also changed in his appreciation for the food? Is it that I have overfed him with this particular food? Like, you begin to pick the signals as he grows up. Be interested in his medicals. Be interested in the conversations in his circles. Because in there, you get to understand that it looks like all his boys are now getting off beer. All his boys are now exercising. All his boys are now getting off the domedo. Does it mean that probably it's a conversation that I may have to gently nudge him for him to get in line with? So you need to bond and build a friendship, and it is out of this friendship that a lot of things come out. The things that we know about our friends, we don't intend to share, but comes out every day because we talk. And it's the same thing at home. if a woman pays attention to a man, and I think that the reverse is also true, though today we are talking about
Men,
this
exactly.
yes.
So
if
the
a woman
focus is
pays,
fine.
yes, the woman pays attention to a man, and a man is open and transparent and communicative enough, trust me, your woman will learn along the line. The problem is where there is a break in communication. Everybody expects somebody to figure it out or to say it, blurt it out. That's where sometimes the challenges come.
Great. Any more points to add to that before we move on? How do you get this woman to come along with you, grow with you, evolve with you, bearing in mind that she's also approaching menopause?
So tell, ask, and then pay attention. The man, as PJ has said, has to communicate these changing needs to the wife. And then as a wife, it is also okay once in a while to ask, what is going on? What would you like me to do for you? How important is this to you? And then pay attention to the things that they complain a lot about. If you always complain about their food being salty or their food being too peppery or too spicy, it is time to pay attention to it. If you complain about food having too much protein, too much meat, it is time to pay attention to it. If they complain about not having vegetables or fruit, as PJ said, it is time to pay attention to it. Yes.
Great.
So tell, ask, and pay attention.
And in paying attention, men are mostly moved by the very little things you show interest in. So he hits the road at 5 a.m. or 5:30 and comes in the evening and he says, because I'm growing this little thing here, so now I don't want to eat. So what do you eat at breakfast or for breakfast? Or what do you eat for lunch? One day you try and visit him in the office or go with him to see what he eats and where he eats. And your feedback is, okay, I don't think this food is healthy, because as you are getting to middle ages, that is where all the lifestyle conditions also start. So you go the extra mile to pack lunch for him. It communicates something to him. It puts more hold on him. But you can't be bothered. He concludes. And you see, we have different men. Some are very vocal, some are not vocal. The not so vocal ones, a lot of these things, actually, they are very petty. The introverts, they are very petty. They note all these things, but they don't voice it out. And they bottle them in till the day it explodes. That's the day he's walking out of the door and you are not aware. And that is the day he will tell you that you didn't show this, you didn't do that, you didn't say this.
Why didn't you just say?
That's just
Am I
who
a
they
mind
are.
reader?
That's
just
the
who
thing
they
with
are.
I am
introverts.
sorry, but at that point in time, you can go.
No, but you've lived with a guy for 20 years.
Ah.
You should know that the guy is melancholic. To get him to talk, you have to draw it out of him. So if he has a problem, you have to note it.
And he doesn't want to talk about it.
They communicate a lot more through non-verbal means.
He walks into the room and the room is untidy.
You should see in his body language.
Immediately he gets
Yes,
irritated,
yes.
but he's not saying a word. He just goes into the bedroom and probably goes to sleep.
So if your wife is also melancholic and she's also not talking, then what?
So one of the difficult people to live
why you don't
one of the
usually
most difficult people to live with are melancholics.
The melancholics are-
And two melancholics living together can be very difficult.
But actually,
The
they
house
understand
can
each other.
the house can no, you see, they are very empathetic.
Yes.
So what they don't want you to do to them, they
won't do
don't
it
want
to you.
they won't do to
To
you.
you.
Yes.
So they can cohabit easily.
Yeah.
Just that their home will be like a cemetery. Because half the time one person is in a bad mood and has withdrawn. And you can't bring them out until they want to come out. So you have to wait for them to get cool and ready to engage before you can talk.
This is trouble.
I want to add to what Kobina said about when the man comes home and says that all of a sudden I don't want to eat dinner anymore because my belly is getting big. It is time for you to suggest alternate meals that he can have, because you're expected to be an expert in the food department in the home. And so when he says, oh, I don't want to eat anymore, you don't go, oh, okay, fine, that saves me the trouble, I don't have to worry about. But good wife would say, oh, how about we try some fruits in the evening? Or you can have some light salads and maybe a slice of bread. And, that shows that you care. That shows that you're taking that department seriously.
Actually, when you come with that, the natural instinct is, where have you been eating? That's why you don't want to come and eat at home again. Instead of doing that, change the menu.
Yeah.
Begin to give him something light.
Exactly.
So he comes and there's light soup. He comes and there are fruits or there are salads. You have changed the menu, but he has to. He still knows that there will be food at home, so I have to come home to come and eat.
Because that's what a side chick will do.
Let me.
They don't do that.
Oh, they
Let
will.
me say
They
that.
would not. When you say I don't want to eat, they will not say, "Oh, okay, that's fine." They're like, "Oh, sweetheart, you know."
Yeah, so that's the point I want to emphasize on that. Men like a lot of affirmation. You understand? Men like a lot
So
of
learned.
affirmation. Unlike women, that affirmation has to be verbal. Sometimes you can just talk your way into a woman's life and stay there for 10 years, and all you are doing is just talking. Men want affirmation, but they want affirmation in both what you say and what you do. So, like he rightly said, if he makes a comment about his food and his body and the need for change and then all that, he doesn't expect you to just stop. Like he said, okay, well, that saves me the trouble. I'm not going to cook again. He wants to see you coaxing him, that kind of that motherly thing, like, oh, babe, into me a damn mouse. He said, what do you want?
We are still big boy baby,
So you know, just make him feel good about himself. I always say that there was somebody in this country that we know that the wife was more powerful. But anyway, that's not a conversation. Because the woman knows how to make him feel good. Anyway, that's not the conversation. The conversation is that you need to know how to make that guy feel good about himself, about some
Show that you care.
Yes. You know, and trust me, it becomes very easy to move him. It becomes very easy for you to get him to collaborate with you, get him to work with you along the food, along the family, and along the whole setup.
Okay, great. 0302216541. I want to hear from, our audiences out there. But I wanted to ask a question, right? Some of the examples we're given looks like ideal situations where you have a woman who would probably go to work at the regular working times and come back home and has a bit of time on her hands to be able to, pay attention to do all of these. But we know that there are women or wives, mothers, who also run very, very crazy schedules, such that by the time the person is getting home, they're exhausted. They're looking at you also paying a bit of attention to them and wondering how their day went and all that. Too tired to take care of themselves and to even, it's not like they don't want to do it, but it's just the schedules they run. I mean, you have very powerful women like you're talking about. And their works, sometimes the schedule is taking them out of town almost every now and then and all. And if you're a man who is expecting all of these from this woman as well, and it's not coming.
You want me to give you a real life example of what you just described?
I want an
So there's a big lawyer in town. His wife is a big woman working outside of the country.
Oh, we know.
He said it once. He said, my social contract with my wife is that when I come home, my food should be on my table.
Doesn't matter who made
Who
it.
made it?
How you got
it
it there,
Exactly.
I don't want to know.
Exactly.
So, he is here, the woman is outside of the country, but she calls home every day to tell the house help that put this on the table for breakfast.
2 A B C D.
Pack this one for lunch. Put this one on the table for dinner. Every other week or so, she comes to town to do the cooking herself.
Beautiful.
Now, let me explain to you why it is important to do the cooking yourself. I started with the spiritual dimension of cooking. Now, if you outsource the cooking, and whoever is doing the cooking has the eyes for your husband, and decides to cook with her spirit in the food for your husband to eat,
It's our neighbor.
it is only a matter of time. It will communicate to him. So, no matter how busy you are,
Have to find ways around.
find ways. Growing up, I had a friend whose dad was the kind that he wants to eat food straight from the pot to the table. So we grew up observing that the mom was every day cooking in the evening. you can't do that in today's Ghana. The trade-off, which a lot of us fathers today do, is not to demand food coming from the pot. We still want you to do the cooking, but don't mind you cooking everything for the month on one weekend and stuff them in the freezer. If you like, pack them in small bowls such that when I come and you are not there, I take it, I microwave it, and I'm eating.
Yeah. Yep.
On all of these, right? Me, I'll score myself 100% plus one.
Edem.
Take your good morning to you. Oh, and in fact, it can be confirmed.
Oh, wait, it is confirmed.
We have to speak to him directly.
Oh,
this one
I can actually raise him on the line for you. Ajima, just have good morning to you.
Good morning, Mama. I hope you're doing well.
I am well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm also doing well.
Great, let's hear you.
Yes, another great discussion this morning.
Thank you.
I think the professionals have said a lot, but I just want to add this.
They're not professionals. They are just home lovers.
We're professional
They're
husbands.
just family lovers.
Based on whatever they are talking about, I think it boils down to understanding. For me, if I want to marry, you don't know how to cook, but you are ready to learn, I'll look for a caterer for you. If you can't read and write and you are ready, I'll look for a teacher for you. My only problem is a woman who doesn't respect and a woman who can't stay with me alone. That's the biggest problem that I have with the woman. That one,
Right.
I cannot solve it.
Beautiful.
When you were in the village, if you don't eat fufu a day, then you haven't eaten. But now in town here, I cannot be there and be eating fufu every day. If I don't eat fufu even a month, I don't have a problem with it.
Exactly.
If in the afternoon I get my guide and watch it and plantain boss up.
Sharp,
If I come home, I eat my food. If you can't cook for me, I don't have a problem with you. But they said something that for sex there is for everybody. If you say you can't like sex, then you have a bigger problem.
Okay.
So I think if you understand your partner, it shouldn't be the fact that you are the woman, so you should wash all the time, you should cook all the time, whereby at my leisure time I can wash, I can cook.
Yeah.
So I think if you understand each other, there shouldn't be any problem.
Thank you
Great
very much,
discussion.
Ajima and Joseph. I love the things you have said, and this only tells me that, look, once you know where you stand, you're having the conversations deeply.
Yeah.
And if the person is willing to come along with you, because for him, it's important that his woman knows how to cook. And so, no, not know how to cook, but it's important that the woman cooks
He's
for
willing.
him.
He has a willing attitude to learn.
No, what it is that he would like for his woman to cook for him.
yes.
Right.
And so even if he's meeting the woman at a time when the woman is unable to cook and she is willing to learn it, just so you are able to make 1 or 2 meals for me, I am still happy with you. But if the woman is unwilling to learn, then you know you don't go there. You'll be putting yourself into trouble. I love that. Hello, good morning. Hi, Emmanuel. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm also good by the grace of God.
Great.
I really appreciate this program that we do doing every Saturday morning.
Thank you.
I do it. And I want to use this opportunity to say something about, at first, the mic was not positioned well, but yet last week and today is very well positioned and we can listen clear.
Okay,
But the
thank you.
volume sometimes comes up and goes down, so if they can check that for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
About the topic today, as for food, it's not the way to a man start, but it plays an integral part as far as marriage is concerned. The two foods, the one we eat from our mouth and then the downstairs, we don't joke with it. I remember when I got married, I'm somebody who is very concerned about health. You see, eating outside sometimes doesn't help. Once in a while, it's good. So what I do is, I don't eat early in the morning. I like eating around 10 thereabouts. So if I eat that time and then I eat in the afternoon too, when I come home, I can't eat my wife's food. And my wife was always angry with me. But there was a problem because I used to eat around 11 thereabouts so that I don't eat again, so that I'll be able to eat my wife's food when I come home. And I go home, the food is not ready.
Yeah.
So it was a problem. So as for food, if you analyze it, you see it's one of the things that we spend much money. aside fees, rent, and the rest. So for food in the house, we shouldn't joke with it, and we should also think about healthy wise so that you don't eat anyhow, and then the men will be eating out. About prepare something good and healthy in the house for the man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And while we wait for the next phone call to come, did you know that playing any musical instrument or singing activates the brains in ways that other human activities can't? It's the total brain workout. For the growing mind, music learning is an invaluable input to the brain's development. It is enjoyable, it instills discipline, and develops the mind. At Music Haven, we teach all the musical instruments: piano, organ, violin, guitar, saxophone, trumpet. We teach both adults and children. So parents, why don't you enroll your children at Music Haven for a great musical experience? We're open from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 10 a.m. through to 3 p.m. You can find Music Haven on the Mensa Saba Road near the Malamata Market and next to Teledata. Numbers to call 0244356173 and 055-255-8398. We look forward to having your children at Music Haven. Make your children heroes among their peers. Music Haven, your musical coach. And for your eye care challenges, look no further. Amasha Partners Limited and Eye Care has it all. Your eyes deserve the best care and quality designer eyeglasses. Amasha Partners and Eye Care undertake the following services: supply of designer frames, sight testing, supply of lenses, sunglasses, contact lenses, ophthalmologist in attendance, and general treatment. Locate them at La Opposite Trade Fair, Sprinters adjacent ICGC before the Community 18 Junction, McCarthy Hill, they are opposite Benjay Lodge, North Kaneshi, Swan Lake, opposite Greenhand Junction. Achimota, you can find them in the Dainswa Plaza on the second floor. Takrade on the Axim Road, opposite CBJ Bank Hall, Housing Junction, Kumasi, Airport Roundabout, Kolibu, they are opposite the ECG, and Kufuridua Central Hospital Road. And in Tema, you find them in Community 1 inside the Meridian Plaza. Numbers to call 0302-939850 and 0302-778827. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And the Pentecost Hour, a religious broadcast program sponsored by the Church of Pentecost, comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyame, chair on Joy 99.7 FM every Monday 9:30. So this Monday and all other Mondays, please tune in for all the life transforming messages. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I am good, thank you.
Thank God. Say a big thanks to our professional husband. They said it all.
They take out.
Yeah, they said it all, and I think there's a lot of things aside food that makes a man happy, and it makes a man to stay in the home. Yeah, as the spiritual man said, the way you cook the food, you pour your spirit into it, and as the man eats the food, the bond with you lives forever. So you can't just say you marry a woman who cannot cook.
Great.
At least you can do something. Not the best of food, but cooking with the joy, cooking with the love, pouring your heart into it. Together you eat together, and everything will work.
Great. Thank
All right,
you
thank
very
you.
much, Roland. Thank you. This one says, what food constitutes 2/10 as a way to a man's heart? This is from Julius in his home. Okay. Good morning, Edem. Please, I want you to talk about the men. Today we are not talking about men. We're not bashing the men in any way. We're not asking them to do anything for us. What we are doing is actually learning from them. But I'll still read anyway. It says some men don't give money for cooking, but they expect good food from their women. Is the woman supposed to use the money to cook the good food for the man all the time? This is from Regina in Lashimi.
Yeah, Regina, we don't like that.
They don't want to attend to this one today, but we'll put it in the fridge at the right time. Hi, Benjamin. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Benjamin.
Yeah, it's interesting that I actually followed the program and I kind of agree partly with your guests. you know, we want to contextualize all this. It's a cultural thing, and I wonder why sometimes, because of telenovelas that people are watching in Ghana these days, influencing our culture negatively, people tend to go away completely and they want to do what they see in those novellas, which oftentimes are not even true, and no education follows because the Indians, the white Indians are always used. They don't tell the true picture of the poverty situation in India. So people think that everything else, whether India or whatever, is accurate and correct. I mean, that's not true. I mean, for me, I don't have a problem when I cook. I don't have a problem at all. But there are people who have that orientation. They saw their mothers cooking and all of that. So it's difficult for them to be detached. So they should not be blamed at all. So the woman ought to cook if you find a man like that. If you don't want, then you simply don't even fall into any such situation. Gone are the days. I remember my own mother was even a herbalist, though that is not her profession. She will make sure she gives you leaves that would even cure certain ailments, headache or whatever. I always see her grinding all kinds of things when my other brothers fall sick, among others. That is fantastic. But today we don't see that anymore. All we see are people who do not want to learn how to cook. Some of them run away from their parents' house to put her with a boyfriend somewhere from another culture. And at the end of the day, if they don't get married, they want to get married now, and it's all about, they don't want to cook. You have to cook, and they form all kinds of feminist movements, which is okay. But the extreme feminist movements here and there, men must cook, men must get pregnant, and all of that,
You have made your point. Unfortunately, you said we weren't putting the conversation in context, but I didn't even know the context. Because it's like...
He wants to fight Pepper them today.
But you have made your point. Good morning, Edem, to you. Thanks for the topic today. Today, I want to one. Who plans the meal for the day? Is it right when you ask your wife, honey, what are we eating today? And she will tell you, I don't know. What is their job? What are they supposed to be doing? Okay, so that is why we are having this conversation, so that all of us will learn. Yesterday, I found myself having a conversation with a friend of mine. Hi, Samuel. Samuel will be our last caller. Hello, Samuel. Hi, Samuel. Are you there? Samuel.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, good morning, Samuel. You're here.
Yeah. I really wish my wife would be here with me, listening to you people. I like it when Councillor Ata-Bedu hates the type of guys who are introverts. And really, I'm the type. He said everything about me. And then, unfortunately, my wife is not here to listen to me.
Can I ask you a simple question? What would you have really loved for your wife to learn?
Well, it's about the introvert type that I am. When something goes wrong, I keep it to myself, even though I may not like it. And then the time that I would come out with it is when she has gotten angry with me and she's talking a lot.
Okay, and your wife is not an introvert, right?
No, she is not.
Okay. So what it is that I have been planning this. After all these men's conversation, we will go back and visit our conversation on temperaments. I think it's a conversation that we should be having from time to time, so that it will help all of us, The first day I listened to a conversation on temperaments, forgotten the reverend's name.
Entry.
No, he came to see him.
Oh, okay.
And that was the day I stopped fighting my husband over a lot of things. I just understood why this boy behaves the way he behaves. Good morning to you, Edem, and all men need his attention. We will all get home at the same time, and my husband will ask me, "What are we eating?" Can you imagine? They like attention. I beg, let's give it to them, Let's give it to them. Yesterday I watched a video on social media. There was this lady who was cuddling the baby. The man came, took the baby nicely. Did you post it?
I posted it.
took the baby, and you would think that he was going to take the baby for the woman to be able to rest. Took the baby, put the baby on the side, and then he laid on the woman, and then put the woman's hands around him so that the woman would start cuddling him.
So let me tell you what happened on Teleton.
So let's give it to them.
So let me tell you what happened on Teleton yesterday. So a lady comes to post that the husband comes home, or they got home after around 7ish, and she prepares the dinner for the man, and the man says he wants pepper soup.
I saw it.
And she says that, it's too late. I can't do it. So, and the man immediately dials a woman, puts it on speaker.
That's disrespect.
And says that, you see. And I was reading the comments, and one person said, next time you ask for money and he doesn't give you to call another man. That is recipe for disaster. Point is this: no man who wants to go and eat in his side chick's house, if you know Lagos very well, will not drive through traffic to go home, only to leave to go and
I
eat.
don't want us to debate this, because we can debate it from morning.
I
Yesterday I was
agree.
debating this with a couple of friends of mine, that
I agree.
this is your wife we are talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
You all have gone to work and come back late. I mean, it could even be that she
No, the
wasn't
question
feeling
is
too good.
that, listen,
and the person
what
didn't
does
say
it
that
take
I
to
will
make pepper soup.
No, please. She didn't even have the
That's
things.
number one.
No, let's-
But number two, it is a message he is sending.
Oh, Kobe, that is
Kobe,
disrespectful.
let's-
This one is
let's
not a
put it in
husband.
context. Let's put it in context. There are certain vicinities, personally, assuming this person is living in my house. My house, there's no way you can get anything to do any pepper soup after 9 o'clock. You
That's
can't.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yes, 7 p.m.
Well, but still, let's be honest. Depending on where the person is staying, they would have to get up, probably drive out. If they don't have a car, they would have to figure out how to go out, go buy ingredients, come and stand on their feet, cook pepper soup for you. What are the other things that a woman is supposed to do in that same evening? Did she think about it? Did she make the right arrangement for it? So you just come 7 o'clock, boom. I want pepper soup. Then boom, everything stops.
So-
and by the time this pepper soup is ready, it will be 9 o'clock.
It's unreasonable.
I mean,
It
it's
is very unreasonable. So what it is that
so he goes to the side chick's house to go and eat.
No,
And
so
this side
so
chick-
she says that, no, the
What
point she
if-
made was
no, I'm
that
coming. What
the
if
man
the side
says that she's lazy. And I said,
she's
you
not.
don't judge a character
Yes,
by one transaction.
by
and
making
Kobe,
an
what
so
my point is that this is
demand.
your wife, not a maid, for crying
Exactly.
out loud. You all have gone out, come back tired, and
When
it's
he
not
was
like
coming-
she didn't
no,
give you food
no,
though.
No, when he was coming.
Why didn't you even say?
Why didn't you even call ahead of time and say that, babe, that's what I want to eat? I mean,
It is so unfair. So what it is that if at that point in time what you wanted was sex, and for one reason or the
that
other
she's
your wife
unable,
was not
you
in
would-
the
you would have
position
also
to
picked
give
the
you
phone
sex,
and
and if you looked at this wife, it's not like she was blatantly refusing.
Yeah.
She had made something for you and said that tomorrow I will do the pepper soup for you. So if it was a case that she was unable to have sex with you, maybe she wasn't feeling well, and truthfully that is it, you will leave and go and have sex elsewhere and say that she's lazy. No, this
But
was
again, hold on.
No.
When it comes to
Adam, no,
counseling,
I'm coming.
we only heard one side of the story.
That is true.
But you brought it up,
But-
and
but
this is
That's
what
what
we
I'm
all
saying.
read.
That's what I'm saying. I started
But we are
analyzing
also
it and
judging
asking
from one
all
side
the
of the
questions.
story.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
You're judging. And you see, most often than not, I always say that sometimes there are certain behaviors. It is not to be limited to the particular or specific event. It becomes a hallmark of the person's behavior
True.
in certain
With some
areas.
other underlying
Yes. So if the
problems.
person can quickly, without any consideration or anything, they ask for food and you are unable to deliver the specific food, not that you're unable to deliver food, and they pick their key and they are going out. What else would they be asking? And if you can't provide, they
They
will
will
out.
go and do.
And it is all part of the upbringing. This is an overindulged person. Growing up, everything they wanted was done for them. 10 p.m. they go and wake their mother up. I want this. They do it for them. So they come and marry and they think that they can bring it into somebody's house. That's wrong.
But you see,
I
I
think
look
we
at
have
it
to-
from the
we'll
what is.
continue
if
this
it was
conversation
reversed,
after
then
here,
it
but we
wouldn't
need to
be.
wrap up now. Kofi, what would be your final words? We have about 30 seconds each to wrap
I
up.
would say that as spouses, we have responsibilities to each other. We have to do whatever it takes to meet the needs of our spouses. Sometimes it comes in the form of chores that we have to undertake. Let's take those seriously and make sure that our spouses' needs are being met.
Thank you.
What I would say is everybody has their own love language. Know what your spouse's love language is. If theirs is act of service, they know that includes food and cleaning and all sort of service. If theirs is words of affirmation, act of gift giving and then all of that, give it to them. So know who your spouse is, and it'll be very easy to know the way to their hearts.
Case done. And finally from you, Kofi.
Same here. Know what is important to the person. Know what are the deal breakers and what they are willing to negotiate on. and negotiate on those ones.
Beautiful.
But those ones that are deal breakers, don't try to
change them.
But let me go through the list Kofi shared with us again, and all of them agree to it. Sex is important. You have to be attractive. So taking care of yourself is key. Domestic support, and that includes the food, taking care of the home and being there and all that. Recreational companionship, and then admiration. So all of these they agree are
change that one
important.
to respect.
Let me
admiration.
tie respect to that one. And then we agreed here that especially so for those of you who are planning to get married, it's important that you have conversations and put your needs on the table and make sure that whoever you're planning to get married is aligned. You two should be aligned. You don't assume that once you become my wife, then automatically the person is now able to do it. If they don't have it in them, and you don't have patience for them to learn, or they are unwilling to learn because they told you this is who they are, then you decided to create problems for yourself right from the beginning. So it's important that you have the conversations and be properly aligned. Marriage is beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
And I don't think that, and you know the reason I chose this man, there are men who respect women, who are not making women slaves. And so these points are from a good place. And thank you to all of you who called. Next week we will be here to have another conversation, and we are focusing on the men. Good morning and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.